In this video, I just want to go over what we covered in class when we looked at the cable capacity for conduit. And the aim of it is so that you understand what we're going to do and the capacity of cable management systems, which actually forms part of Unit 203. And we're going to use Appendix E of the on-site guide, but you need to make sure you've got the 18th edition to ensure there aren't any changes. And the reason we're doing this is because your synoptic exam for the 8202 requires you to complete a planning section, and you've got to justify the choices of what you choose. Now, the following video and the classwork we did actually allows you to justify your choices. And so we look at cable support systems. How do we know we're picking the right size of conduit for the job that we're actually going to do? Now, conduit comes in different sizes, starts at 16mm and goes all the way up to 63mm. And I've just put the standard sizes there on the screen for you. So which one do we actually need? So what we need is to find the number known as a cable factor, which has been applied to each cable size, dependent on its construction. And what we do is we get that factor, add them all together, and then that is used to pick an appropriate size of conduit. So if you have a look at table E1 in your on-site guide, you will find this. And so at this side, I've got the type of the conductor. So is it a solid conductor or is it stranded? Now that's to do with the construction of the cable itself. Then I've got the size of the cable, from 1mm solid to 2.5 solid, and then it goes from 1.5 all the way to 25mm in stranded. And at this side I've got the factor of the cable selected. So a solid 1mm cable would have a factor of 22. Now it's quite important that you get these the right way, because as you can see here, a solid 1.5 cable has a factor of 27, but if it's stranded and still the same size, it's now got a factor of 31. So it makes a difference. So as an example, what would the factor be if we had 9 2.5mm stranded cables? What do we actually need? So it's quite simple maths. I can find a factor of 43, 2.5. I've got a factor of 43 there. 9 times 43 equals 387. So I need a conduit suited to take this factor. So if you have a look at table E2 in your on-site guide, you will actually find this. So from the previous slide, we know that we had a conduit with a factor, we needed one, of 387 at least. So I can see that 16mm has a conduit factor of 290, it's not big enough. A 20mm conduit has a factor of 460, which is more than enough. So I can use a 20mm conduit. Now that's not to say that that physically wouldn't fit inside a 16mm conduit, but there are reasons for installation that we won't use that. The cables need to be kept cool, as we've discussed in other lessons when we've looked at the science and principles, and we know that if we increase temperature, we can increase resistance in a cable. So we need a consistent airflow to keep our cables from getting too hot. And so that's what this planning is starting to do, to ensure everything is kept the way we want it. So if we try an example, if we have 6 stranded PVC 2.5mm cables and a 20mm conduit, can you justify that this choice is suitable? Now what I suggest you do is turn off the video for a few minutes, work it out and see if you can come back with an answer. And so the solution is, the factor for 2.5mm cable was 43. I had 6 of them, so it's 258. The factor for the 20mm conduit was 460. So that is acceptable. That's quite easily going to fit inside that conduit. So example 2, we now need to install 6 stranded PVC 6mm cables. But can I still use 20mm conduit? So again, pause the video and see if you can work that out. And so the solution to that is the factor for the cable is 88. We've got 6 88s, gives me 528, and the factor for the conduit was 460. So the answer is no, it's not acceptable anymore. Again, not saying that it physically wouldn't fit, but that cable wouldn't be able to cool itself. The grouping factors and the temperature are going to be impacted quite badly. So what size do we actually need? Again, pause the video for a moment, see if you can find a suitable system. And the completion of example 2, if you go to table E2 of the on-site guide, you can find a factor for 25mm conduit of 800. So I now know that I can use a 25mm conduit. Now, I've given you some examples here for you to play around with. Have a go at them, but ensure that you always refer to the tables in your on-site guide. So where you got your factors from, so refer to table E1 or E2 and write out in full how you've calculated what you end up with. It's really important that you get used to this because it will form quite a big part of your level 3 exams. And so it's a really good habit to get into. Now, what if I want to install a system that is longer than 3 meters or incorporates a bend of any kind within that system? So I now need to move on to tables E3 and E4, still in Appendix E. And so if we look here at table E3, cable factors for use in conduit in long straight runs over 3 meters or runs of any length which incorporates a bend. So I've got solid or stranded, I've got the conductor cross-sectional area running down there, and I've got the cable factors for each one of my cables. So all I do is find out how many of each one I've got, multiply it up, add them together and come up with a total cable factor for that installation. And then I move on to table E4. And you can see down the left hand side I've got the length of the run in meters, and across the top I've got straight, 1 bend, 2 bends, they've typed and missed out 3 bends and 4 bends, and you get 4 choices each time. So the first 4 are straight, the second 4 are 1 bend, and so on, you work your way along. So for instance, if I look at a run of 5 meters, then these are all the factors that can be used in that particular one. So you can see if I've got a 20mm conduit with 1 bend, I follow that down until I reach the 5 meter line, and I would have a factor of 244. If I've got 2 bends in 20mm, still 5 meters, take that down, I've now only got 196 for 5. You can see how these all change. Now, as you can see, the further away you get, so the longer the run, the smaller your factor is, which is telling you it's going to make it more difficult to install. You can put less cables in there. And so now, when we're doing circuits that aren't short straight runs, we're using tables E3 and E4. Now, as you can see, these go up to 32mm. If we're doing anything larger than 32mm, I've got 3 additional factors in this bottom corner. So it gives me a multiplier of 1.4 38mm, 2.6 if I want 50mm, or 4.2 for 63mm. These are fairly big conduits, which are why they're not in the table. I've never installed anything to that size, but it could possibly happen. All right, so that's what we're using when we're not doing short straight runs. And just to finish this off, we have a look now at table E5 in the on-site guide, which shows single core thermoplastic insulated cables, but this time we're using trunking. And you can see from this table that we've actually got same cables, but we get a different factor number. Okay, again restricted, we've only got a couple of choices, so solid, stranded, and we'll tell you which cable type. So for instance, a stranded 1.5 in 6004 has a factor of 8.6, but if I do it in thermosetting cable, I've got a factor of 9.6. And I do exactly the same as I did last time, work out the total and then multiply it up to give myself a cable factor. And then we move on to table E6, which shows us all the choices we've got in trunking and the trunking dimensions. So as you can see from the very top, a 50 by 38 trunking would have a factor of 767. So I can do exactly the same as I did in my conduit calculations, but this time making sure you use table E5 and E6 to get your solutions. Now I'll set some questions up separately to this video, and then you can have a go at those and email them to me.